welcome to another edition of the Above the Bridge podcast. I'm your host, Thaddeus. Okay, quick shout out to our sponsors. First up, we have Defend Hawaii. Go check them out. They have a lot of gear. It's all over the island. They have it out of Town and Country. They have a store in Winter Mall called No One that sells all their stuff. But if you're not anywhere near the stores, go to defendhawaii.com. Use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout. You'll receive 15% off your entire purchase order. Go check out what they have on the website. They have a lot of not just t-shirts, but they have a whole bunch of other stuff. They got cool hats, slippers. They even got pareos. Go check them out. defendhawaii.com. Next, we have IREP Detail Supply. Everybody has a car. You want it to look clean. Go to check them out. They have a store in Temple Valley. Go check them out. They have waxes, soaps, everything you need to detail your car. Go also to irepdetailsupply.com and use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout. You'll receive 15% off your entire purchase order. irepdetailsupply.com. Okay, last but not least, we have Hawaii Candy Factory. I know you see their stuff everywhere. They have noms, those little packages of candy. They have lihimui gummies, gushers, straws. Go to hawaiicandyfactory.com. Promo code ATBPOD upon checkout. 10% off your entire purchase order. All right. Okay, let's see. This week, my guest for our show today is Bj Penn's campaign manager, and she's been very busy. She's kind of taking a break right now because the election was over, but her name's KEIKILANI Ho. What's up, girl?
Hi, Thad. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I know you're going through a crazy election. I mean, it's been what, two months since it's been done?
Maybe 4 months.
4 months? Okay. Seems like it just happened, but yeah, for this election, it was super crazy. I mean, you had probably one of the most polarizing candidates, and yeah, I want to hear all about this because, for one, how did you even become a campaign manager? How did you know how to do that? And let alone, how did you become BJ's campaign manager?
So this all started, I think for a lot of us, it started during the pandemic when we all kind of started to feel like something was wrong. And for myself, I had to educate myself on the Constitution and the laws and just to figure out if what they were doing was right. Because to me, it didn't feel right, you know? And, you know, in Hawaii, we always say like, trust your na'au, right? And it just didn't feel right. So I learned all of that. I decided for myself, like, you know what? I feel like I got to speak up. I got to do something. I'm going to go run for office. I actually was going to go to school. I was in school, actually. I was in school for cosmetic chemistry. And I quit school to pursue this. And so one of my good friends, she called me one day and she was just like, you know, BJ might run for governor. And I was like, oh, that's great, because we need somebody on our side. Because at the time, I don't know anybody who was going to run, except for, of course, I had a feeling that Josh Green was going to run. So I just told her, you know, whatever you guys need help with, let me know. I got you guys. I'll help you guys with whatever. And it's funny. And I don't know if I told BJ this, so it's probably going to be a surprise to him. So, and sorry, Linnell, this is, you know, I'm not trying to like throw you under the bus or anything, but it's just so funny how all of this happened. I told her I was willing to help with whatever. I meant like wave signs or like if there's anything, you know, like clerical I can do. I didn't mean manage a campaign. So she was like, okay, I'm going to go talk to Auntie. I have like a lunch with her or whatever, and I'll call you and I'll let you know. So I was like, okay. And so she calls me. She's like, Auntie wants to have a meeting with you. Can you go to her BJ's sister's house? And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I get to Christina's house, which is BJ's sister. I see BJ. We meet each other. And the first thing that he says is, hey, what's up? So what? You're my campaign manager. And I was like, no, I don't think so. And it was just it was funny. And I was like, oh my God, like what's going on? So
and that was the first time you met him.
Yeah. Well, I've met him before a couple of times, but just a high, just through my friend. I didn't like know him personally. I just, so that was that. And I didn't want to waste time. So we both kind of didn't know what was going on, right? So he was just like, oh, so you're going to be my campaign manager? I was like, no, but I didn't want to waste time. So I was just like, so what are you running? Why did you want to run for governor? What are some of the issues that you're looking to change or that mean a lot to you? And so we went through the list and we were just talking story for hours. It was a good talk. And I thought to myself, he's going to be a great candidate because he genuinely cares about the people. And, whether or not I do become his campaign manager, it sounds like this is going to be a great campaign. So I went home, I put together a deck, I organized things. And in my head, I was nervous because, like you said, I didn't have any experience, but like my whole life is winging everything. Like, talk about winging eyeliner. I wing everything in life. So I winged it. And that's how I became his campaign manager. It's weird, but, I think he thought that I reached out to help.
That you was qualified and you're like, oh, I'm gonna give you my resume and all that kind. But it was like, oh, Auntie went tell my friend to come meet him, and now you're the campaign manager.
Yeah. But you know what? I loved working with him. Auntie Lorraine is the one who brought me on board. That's BJ's mom. I love her so much. And she is just I'm very grateful for this opportunity that she had given me because I learned so much from her.
Well, that's insane because for one, BJ wasn't a politician before. He was, I mean, like you don't even start out running for something, you're going straight for governor. And two, his campaign manager never did that before or had any career in politics, but then it kind of was refreshing because it didn't have all those tricks and silliness and dirt, and it was a clean campaign, in my opinion, from you guys at least.
Yes.
So you guys did good. For your party, you guys came in second, right? Which is huge because that's the first time both you guys even did this. But what was some of the things that you wish you could have done differently throughout the campaign?
I think because we started late. We started late. I think when it comes to campaigns, shortly after I had agreed to be his campaign manager, I actually took some classes for campaigning just to make sure I'm hitting all the points. One thing that I wish that I had done was create a timeline. I did create a timeline, but I only had so much time, right? Yeah. Usually campaigns, they start like a year in advance. Somebody is thinking about running like a year or two, over. Like we only had 5 months from the primary. So that's all time we had. If I could go back, I wish we could have started earlier so we could have planned better. But you know what? I think that we did pretty good for the time that we had and the resources that we had. I would have fundraised earlier in the campaign as well, because it's like whoever has the most money wins. That's just how it is.
Like it. Yeah.
Yeah. What else would I have done different? You know what? That's it. Like, it's just those things, everything else, no matter what anybody says, because I take constructive criticism really well. And I see certain people's complaints and stuff like that, but they're all very minor type of personal issues that they have. Yeah. But for what we had to work with, I'm very happy with, our campaign and how it went, because we really didn't have any money in the beginning. I started off this campaign with nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It seemed like the public supported you guys a lot, and I know BJ had a history of being in the news for negative situations, so you kind of had to dig him out of that genre and make him a candidate that could represent us. And I think you did good, and he did very well representing himself. And I mean, I voted for him.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what though? And that's right. Like in the beginning, it was very difficult for me because the last thing people remember is BJ being outside of a bar, right?
Oh
Knocking
yeah.
people out or getting
Yeah.
knocked out, right? That's the
That's
last thing
right.
they remember before he announced anything about being a governor. So initially, we didn't get a good response. We didn't get a lot of support, not even from my own friends. Like I've asked my friends for help. They didn't want to support. But always, whenever I do something and I'm confident in my ability to do something, and I'm just confident that it will be good, I always look past it and I'm always like, you know what? That's okay. They'll be sorry, or they're gonna regret it, or it'll be okay. So I just move forward. That's all you can do. And that's what BJ would always say. Forward, always forward. And that was literally our campaign, is just move forward no matter what. You know what I mean? That's all you can do. Because if you stay back, like what is that going to do for the campaign, right? Or what is that going to do for yourself?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of negativity. I had to see all of that on social media.
Oh yeah.
I had to tell BJ at one point, I was just like, how do you deal with people? Like, how do you I cannot, because I'm very reactive. Well,
Mm.
I've learned a lot actually from this campaign. I've learned to not be so reactive. And I think BJ has as well. But he just handles negativity so well. Like he can make fun of it. But I'm like, that's not funny. That's not funny. You don't mess around with people like that. That's just, I'm just all about respect. And there was none in the beginning. And it was very hard.
So what were some of the things that you did to help kind of change his image?
Well, for one, BJ is actually genuinely kind. He's genuinely kind. He's genuinely humble. He's genuinely down to earth, and he genuinely loves people. So that's all I could see of BJ. That's all I could see him as, because I never knew BJ when he was the way that he was before. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I'm not one to judge people because we all have a past. Everybody
Right.
has a past. So nobody really has a right to judge anybody. And I'm really good about not seeing people for who they were, but for who they are now. And so that's all I could do, is like, I don't know BJ the way that he was before. So for me, it was just like, people got to know how BJ really is. People have to see that side of him. And we could have played dirty, because I can play dirty if I wanted to. You know what I mean? I think you
Yeah.
know that too. Like
Yes,
my past,
definitely.
I would
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
right?
From Kaneohe.
But right.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to do that, because that's what politics is.
Yeah.
Politics is that way. And for Hawaii, it's very different the way that we campaign here. The elections in Hawaii is very different. Like I was saying, they don't even wave signs in the mainland, right? And you don't there's hardly any smear campaigns. So, right away I already knew that's not where I wanted to go. I also, I noticed that we kind of, I mean, without bragging, I feel like we set the tone
Yeah.
about how, you know what I mean? Because I feel like if we were to start out like attacking people, we would have got that back. But I really feel like that the media was just digging and digging. They wanted to see that from BJ, because BJ is a fighter, and because of his past, they wanted to see BJ in that light. But that's not even who BJ is anymore. And I wanted to make sure that that's not what people see him as, that people get to see who BJ really is, because for years, all we've seen BJ as is a fighter.
Yeah.
And then also the negativity of the news, right? And I just felt like if people knew this side of BJ, then they would believe in him. They would vote for him, and they would feel comfortable with him becoming, governor. So I just focused on the good, always focused on the good. But yeah, there was still, till the very end, till this day, there are still a lot of negative people who think he's crazy, who think he is dumb. But you know what, Thad? You know what's crazy is that I didn't think that BJ was dumb. I never did think that. But I was very surprised at actually how intelligent he is. It's like he has like a switch, I feel. He only talks a certain way around certain people. Like I feel like if you personally know him, you get to see that side of him where he can just talk story, you know what I mean? Like just
Yeah.
go off. And I'm just like, and he knows so much about history, especially Hawaiian history. So I really wanted people to see that. I really, really wanted people to see that side of BJ.
So that was your job primarily, was to let people see him for what you perceive how he was now. And I think it resonated a lot with the community. I know in at least in on Oahu, a lot of people were very receptive towards him. And I'm sure like there was pushback, but I only seen like the positive stuff. And I did like what he stood for. And he genuinely, in my opinion, was standing up for the people who didn't really have a voice. And that was
Yes.
different than what politicians in Hawaii have been. And even like on the debate, his side of the campaign was very cordial. And it probably was the precedent that he set, because the other side, they was bashing each other the whole time.
Yeah.
And it was
Yes.
like, who wants to watch that? Like, you
Right.
guys are beefing with each other. One of you guys gonna be the leader, so either way, everybody gotta support you.
Right.
um on that side, it seemed cordial and very to the point of the topics, not trying to bring each other down. And that was noticeable. And
Yeah.
to have BJ up there just doing it for the first time was so weird to see, because like you said, he was a fighter, and a couple
Yeah.
years ago he was in the octagon beefing, and now he's taking up another kind of fight. But how what was the kind of pushback that you guys were getting? Like, if there was negative stuff, was it online or like to your guys' face when you're out in the public? Like, how has
Oh,
that been?
yeah, it was both. It was we did have some things like in the public, but it was more so when we were waving signs.
Oh,
So I mean, you know what? So there was a lot of online type of negativity. There was tons of that online. I think anybody could see it. You know, they're calling him stupid, they're calling him dumb. They're like, you don't even have an experience. What are you running for? We've seen all of those things, and bringing up his past and all this stuff. And when we were waving signs, I remember I would see people just like sticking finger or like going like this, you know what I mean? And we just wave and we just go like this, like, you know what I mean? Like in their face, we just continue to just keep waving because, they just don't know. You know what I mean? They just don't
yeah.
know. I mean, I get it though. I get it. I get that the last BG that they seen was the BG outside of the bar. I get it. That's what's in their head. But he's not that way anymore. You know what I mean? So, and
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to be judged on your past.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%. At first, I thought it was a joke. Like, I didn't realize he was serious.
A
And
lot
I'm
of
like,
people.
so I forget. The guys at No One was like, "Oh yeah, BJ gonna run for governor." I'm like, "Oh okay." I thought it was like Bula Iya trying to run for governor, and
we
then
had
there
we
was, yeah. But then I realized it was serious, and then when I heard BJ talk and present his ideas, it was like, oh, this guy has um some logic behind what he's saying, and he's, yeah, it felt clean and not a politician. And I
Mhm.
feel like that's what Hawaii needs, is for unpoliticians to be
Mhm.
becoming politicians and kind of taking care of the people, not themselves. And I mean, to watch BJ do that and shake up this race and shake up the topics and shed light on just the people. I mean, that was a new kind of campaign, and hopefully it kind of continues. And I guess it's up to you guys, right? Like, you guys are the ones that's got to do it.
Yeah. I feel like oh man, if BJ became governor, it would have been so good. You know why? Because his ideas came from the people. If you notice, I'm not sure if you noticed this, but we would continually ask people, what do you want? Like, what are your ideas? We were taking ideas from the state of Hawaii, the people of Hawaii, right? A lot of our policies came from the ideas of the people of Hawaii. Also, for homelessness, that was something that was really dear to me, near to my heart, because that's something that I'm passionate about. I have been for many, many years. So we went straight to Auntie Twinkle's in Pu'uhonua o Waianae, and she gave us a plan. And it was such an amazing plan. You know, if ever one day he does run for governor again, we can probably still use this. But you gotta go to the root of the problem. You gotta go to the people who are already helping those people with those issues. They know what to do. BJ, and the thing is that a lot of people are just like, BJ doesn't know how to do this and BJ doesn't know how to do that. Of course, he doesn't have to know how to do everything. That's why you have a team of people that, you know what I mean? Just like the department store, you have the general manager of the store, right? And then you have all these other department managers because they know how to work with those people, right? It's just like that. We had people in all kind of different areas that had many ideas, that knew how to work with these issues, that were professionals at those issues. And also they live in Hawaii. They are part of the people, right? They're not just some professional from the mainland giving us ideas. We were getting these ideas from the very people who knew how to handle these issues. And I wish people got to see, and you know what? Oh, that's one thing that I wish that we did. I wish that we released our policies earlier.
Oh.
It was just very difficult because one thing that we shouldn't have done is maybe try to be too perfect. And that could have been my fault because I'm a perfectionist, and so was our communications manager. So we didn't want to release anything too prematurely. And we just waited too late. We waited too late to release his policies, but he has some amazing policies that could still work. And we would still even be willing to give that to Green if he wanted to. If he wanted to have any ideas, we'd be more than happy to hand those ideas over to him.
That would probably be the best, right? I mean, that's what the politicians are supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be getting ideas from the people and using that as their means to help. I mean, who else are you gonna learn from or get feedback from if you're not really listening to the people?
Right. And you know what? To me, it's a huge deal that I know that he lived here for some time, but for me, it's just like, you can't really help a people that you really don't know too much about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't born here. He wasn't raised here. So he doesn't truly know the struggle. He truly doesn't know. He would never truly know what the struggle is. BJ will. I do. You do. We were born and raised here. I'm sure Green knows about many issues, and I'm sure that he knows how to, handle some of these things, but we were born and raised here, and it's just hard when you weren't. And you know what I mean? You can't really truly help the people if you don't really know the struggle.
Yeah, if you're not one, how can you help one? I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, right.
So politically, where do you see your career going now that the election's done? Like, what are your future plans, or if you're gonna still be in politics?
So I am thinking, because we have the 2024 election coming up, right? The mayor for Hawaii Island, and BJ has talked about the idea of running for mayor. And if he did run for mayor, I totally support him. I'd be on his side. If not, I'm not 100% sure yet. I just want to be able to be a voice for the people. I always been that way. I think you know me long enough to know that. Just like, politics or not, I've always spoken up for people, especially especially the underdogs, people who don't have a voice. I've always done that. And I want to be able to continue to still do that. So yeah, I mean, that's probably what I'm looking at right now. But you know what? Politics is so ugly. Through politics, you learn who your real friends are. Politics is the ugliest thing I've ever done in my life. And I've done many, many things. Anybody who knows me knows I've done a million things. Politics was by far the ugliest thing I've ever done in my life. It was just fake all around. You think people are on your side. You think that they're actually helping you. But you know what? There are some sneaky things that was happening behind our backs that we found out about. And I was just like, you really don't know who to trust. You don't. Not when you're running a campaign. you really don't know who you can trust, because the very people that you think is on your side was the very people who are working against you the whole time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
I guess that's the nature of the game. I guess that's why you guys are there, to help clean it up. But I can't even imagine to understand how ugly it can be and dirty. I mean, it already seems that way from the outside, so the inside must be
Mhm.
even worse.
Yeah.
And this is what you want to get into. Well, you guess somebody got to help clean it up, right?
Right. And no, I don't care. Like, just like BJ. And I think a lot of what I heard and a lot of what people would say is just like BJ and I were like two peas in a pod, because we're so much alike. We are so much alike. Like we're not afraid. And I was
Yeah.
always like, whatever he wanted to do, if it made sense, I'd be like, okay, let's do this, BJ. You know what I mean? Like we worked really well together. We're not afraid of anything, and I'm not afraid of confrontation. I'm very creative. I'm very innovative, and so is he. Yeah, it's just there's nothing to fear. I mean, even though it is a scary thing to do, it is a scary thing to do. Trust me, we've had. If I could tell you some of the things that we had encountered, some of the things that we experienced, you would think I'm lying. It's scary. Some of the things that happened was scary. Like I would literally cry. But at the end, like, I still kept going, and we still kept going, and we were afraid, but we weren't afraid. We knew what we were up against, but we still kept going.
Did you ever feel like you guys were in over your head?
Oh yeah, of course. Of course. Of course. I'm like, what the heck are you doing? Like, what is your problem? Like, why, of all things to do, right? I could have,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. But it was a really good, fun time. Definitely. And
Yeah.
I think it inspired a lot of people to stand up and run for something, because there was a lot of young people on the ticket. You know what I mean? When BJ had announced his run for governor, a lot of young people stood up too, and they're just like, okay, I'm gonna put my name on the ballot. I mean, myself included, right? I did the same thing. So that was a really good thing that came out of him running too, was him inspiring young people to stand up and speak up for the people.
That's true. And it could
Mhm.
be like the future of how politics is going to be in Hawaii, hopefully.
Yeah. So I ran for state rep, right?
Okay.
This past election, I was on the ticket also, simultaneously to running BJ's campaign.
So
My
you're running your own campaign too at the same time.
Yeah, yes. And you know what? So at that time, I was like, this position is very difficult. It was like I was trying to figure out, like, oh my God, like what am I gonna do? What can I do? Right? What would be my power? What would I be able to do for the people? Right. And that right there was a lot for me to learn.
We need somebody better in Kaneohe, because I always complain about this, but the drain river is so overgrown right now that anytime a big rain's gonna come, Kaneohe is gonna get flooded.
Yeah.
My dad like sends emails to somebody like he thinks but I don't know.
That's the
Like,
city council. I think you would have to go to the city council members. Yeah.
yeah, maybe you should run for the one in Kaneohe.
Come back. I'm coming back. Using my
Yeah.
mom's.
Yeah. Well, that's ambitious goals, and it seems like you're gravitating towards politics. And what were some of the positive things that you got to experience while being a campaign manager? You get to meet a lot of people or celebrities, or like what was the cool points of the campaign?
The coolest thing was going around all the islands and just meeting everybody. That was the coolest thing, because we went around everywhere. We went to all the islands, and we just met a lot of people. We got to listen to them. We got to listen to their ideas. We got to make friends with them. Till this day, we keep in touch. It feels like one huge family. So that was my most favorite part. And I think that would be BJ's most favorite part too, would be just being able to, because he talked about it often, is being able to just travel all over the place and meet everybody. And also just knowing that they trust you. it feels really good to know that there are a lot of people out there on all the different islands that trust you. That was my most favorite part, was just meeting everybody. For me personally, yes, I got to meet a lot of celebrities. Of course, Tito came down for the cruise, BJ's fundraiser. Tito
Oh,
came
okay.
down. All BJ's friends, what was his name? The fighters, all of them, they
Yeah, yeah,
came. Yeah, and I remember, I'm not even sure I'm supposed to say this, but I remember Donald Trump's son too had messaged BJ,
oh
and BJ
wow.
was, what should I do? And then I remember talking to one of our staff members and was like, should we use this to our advantage? And she was like, I think it might work against us
Yeah.
here in Hawaii. And I was like, you know what, you're right. But there are a lot of people, I remember at that time, there were a lot of people who were just like, they were trying to get Donald Trump's endorsement. And
Oh,
I mean, I'm not saying that he would have endorsed BJ, but I felt like maybe BJ could have had a good chance at being endorsed, by Donald Trump. But despite having all the connections to the celebrities, and we never did take advantage of those kind of things. We never did think like, because BJ is a celebrity, we could get this endorsement. And I think that too, a part of the campaign was something that we didn't do too much of, is gathering the endorsements. Maybe that's something that we should have done. But you know what, Thad, to be honest, just like BJ says, this is all theater. To
yeah.
be honest, could have done so many things different, but I really feel it would not have made a difference, because even with the debate, no matter what, even if you're the best debater out there, even though, I mean, we saw with Duke and Josh Green, right? You seen that debate, like,
Yeah.
in my opinion, and I'm not being biased, because like I know a good speaker when I see one. I know a innovative person when I see one, or hear one. I think that Duke smashed Josh Green in that debate. And
Yeah.
look, Duke didn't even win. So it doesn't matter if you're good with your words, or you're the best debater, or you have the best policies. It just doesn't work that way here, I guess. Hawaii, it
Yeah.
just matters. So, when you go back, and I look at all these things, like, I could have done this or I should have done this, but in the end, I don't feel like it would have even mattered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I get it did matter because you guys shook up the race. So I mean, it may not have mattered like BJ winning or losing,
Yeah.
but he did shake up the race.
Yeah.
I don't wanted to ask you, did you go with him when he was on Rogan?
I did not.
Oh, I wanted to know if you got to meet Joe Rogan. I would have thought that would be cool.
No, no, I did not go with him. He went, I think it was just him and his friend who had gone. At that time, I couldn't really travel too much with him. Like, well, especially to the mainland, I wouldn't have been able to do those kind of things, because my husband and I were living apart. So Kaika had already moved to the Big Island. I was living alone with my children for those
Oh,
5 months by myself. So I was like practically living like a single parent. So I had to be with my children at all times.
oh, that makes sense.
Mhm.
That would
Yeah.
have been cool though. I know I was
Yeah.
listening to his interview on Rogan, and it kept steering from politics to fighting, which I was
Yeah.
cool with. But yeah, I always wondered like how it would have been to be at like Joe Rogan's thing. Because I'm a fan, obviously. But um, you're into politics now. What do you do other than politics? Like, what do you have another job?
Oh, yes. So I'm the executive director of Melaleuca here in Hawaii. I think there's about,
Oh, I
yeah,
get that. I have like protein and soap or so. Yeah,
great.
I
That's
yeah.
good. Stick to it, because the stores nowadays, everything is just toxic. Every time I see in the news, you probably see it too. Everybody wakes up to like, orange juice has all these toxins in it, and like it could cause death. Like just recently, that Simply Orange juice that they
Yeah,
had that
yeah.
whole, yeah, like everything is toxic. Everything in the store is toxic, and it's very expensive. So, you know what I mean? Like, because if you're paying the same price as the stores, if not cheaper, and you're getting your money, you're getting money back from shopping at the wellness store, like, why not? It just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's common sense kind shopping.
So, okay, wait, what was your title for Meluka? I didn't mean to
Executive,
interrupt. What
No,
was it? Sorry.
executive director.
Okay, for the whole state.
Yes. So, well,
Oh, wow.
nationally, but
Oh, wow.
I'm one of, I think, I'm not exactly sure. I think there's only two more that I know of. Yeah, here in Hawaii.
So that's a full-time gig then.
Yeah, so that's actually what I was doing, like full time before I got involved. Before I got involved with the campaign, I kind of scaled back on it for a little while, but that business is so good because it was able to hold me because it's residual income too, right? So it was
Yeah.
able to hold me throughout the whole campaign. So whether I worked or not, I would still get paid.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I'm getting back into it. There's a whole nother mission now that I was involved with politics. I see things so much differently now. I'm a lot more aware of where my money is going. I want people to be more aware of where their money is going because there are organizations out there that we're fighting against, but at the same time, when we buy certain products, we're supporting those organizations. So it's like all about education, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's kind of cool. I guess you learn from one job to the next, I guess. So how long have you been doing that stuff?
3 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
it was
and
pretty fast.
what is that, like network marketing kind of thing or?
Yeah, I mean, you can say it's not MLM. A lot of people have mistaken that for Melaleuca for being an MLM, but I can see why they think it is an MLM. But the Attorney General in Idaho, the Better Business Bureau CEO, a lot of the politicians, they of course recognize Melaleuca as not being an MLM. So it is, I would say it is network marketing because you do have to network, right, with people. But I think that everything that you do in business is network marketing because
For
you got to
sure.
network sell, right? Like, well, we don't sell anything. You can't sell products with Melaleuca. That's against the membership agreement. You can only refer people to go to the store and they can buy whatever they want. They shop, they know what they need to get for their home, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
we help them with their memberships, but we don't sell products. But I feel like no matter what, everything in corporate America is networking. You need to have a network. Like people say, right? Your network is your net worth.
Yep.
And I think that's why I was able to become successful at this position really fast is because of my network. Because I met a lot of people over the years with my other jobs that I've done and a lot of community service that I've done as well.
Plus you're trustworthy. So that makes
Thank you.
it easier. Yeah, definitely.
Yes, for sure. Thank you. I
So free
definitely
time, did you even have any free time throughout that whole campaign?
no. No, no. Oh my God. Like, so it's so funny when the campaign, even till this day, it's not, the election may be over, but it's like not over. You know what I mean? Like all the issues that we have, it's still going. We're still fighting it. Diamond Garcia, I think, I'm not sure how much bills he introduced. I think like five, um, mostly pertaining to the children, but we still fight these issues till this day. It's not over. The election is over, but the fight is really not over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you still can have free time though. What was the first thing you did fun after the election? Did you take a trip or like go
Sleep.
Disneyland? Sleep.
No, I wish. I wish. No, I don't. You know what? To be honest, I know it doesn't seem like I'm like an introverted extrovert. I can talk to people. I love to meet new people, but I like to keep to myself a lot. I don't like to go out much anymore.
I know
I
you
like
don't visit us anymore.
I like to protect my energy. And you know what? After the campaign was just because I'm an energy sponge. If I walk into a room, I will absorb everybody's energy and I'll kind of be like, ugh. But after the campaign, I just kept to myself. And more than anything, I just really wanted to sleep because there was no sleep. There was no sleep in the campaign. Like there was none whatsoever. I survived off of Red Bull. I remember sending my daughter into 7-Eleven because we lived right next to 7-Eleven. I remember I told my daughter, go in and get mom 6 cans of Red Bull. So she went and got 6 cans of Red Bull. And when she came out, she's like, Mom, the clerk said to tell you that you shouldn't drink so much Red Bull. I was like, I know. But you know what I mean? I survived off of Red Bull. I had no energy. Like our adrenals was like busted. I'm right now taking a adrenal supplement because I need help. I'm still going. It's just been so crazy. There's no stopping. Yeah.
What did your kids think about you taking on that project?
My poor kids. But you know what? They thought it was cool. They really thought it was cool. And they were so helpful with me. They're you know what? My kids are the real MVPs because they helped me with everything. They helped me with, the favors for BJ's fundraiser. They helped me with waving signs. They helped me with loading and unloading. They helped me with so much things. They helped us sell shirts and hats and stickers and collected money, and you know what I mean? They helped so much, and they had so much fun with it. For me, in the beginning, I didn't want to get my kids involved because I knew it was dangerous.
Yeah.
Also, I knew what people thought about BJ, so I was kind of like, I didn't want my kids to be involved. But then again, it was just me and the kids, so they had to, tag along with me. But they just thought it was really cool. They love BJ. They call him Uncle BJ. They learned a lot. My kids, I taught, well, even before the campaign, I taught them the Constitution, and they would remind me too, about the Constitution. And I think that they had a lot of fun. I think that was, for them being kids, that was a great experience for them, because not all kids would be able to experience something like that.
Oh yeah. And I feel like they would have been proud of you. I think what you did would probably make any kid proud. You know what I mean? Like that's something special. Like you said, not many kids experience running, being part of a big campaign like that. So
Yeah.
maybe not now, but I'm sure that they'll realize how big it was and how much they learned from it. It's kind of cool. With age, you'll remember stuffs that you did as a child, and
Yeah.
that's when it becomes a lesson, I guess, at least for me.
Yeah, for sure. My two kids, my two youngest, my daughter Johnny, she's 15 years old, and Johnsy's 12 years old, and they had to do
Wow.
like some it's like reports or some kind of projects, and they chose to write about me. And it was just like, of all people, like, you know what I mean? Like, could have picked your grandma, or I don't know, somebody famous, but they chose to write about me. That was the hugest compliment. Yeah. You're
That's
doing
super
something
cool.
to prove of you, because they
Yeah,
don't lie.
exactly.
Your kids
Yeah,
don't lie.
kids don't lie. Yo.
So
How do they like living on Big Island now?
I thought it was going to be difficult for them in the beginning because it's very different here, and I think a lot of people didn't think that even I was going to survive here, because there's really nothing. They think that all I like to do is shop, or, you know what I mean? Like, they have this idea of who I am in their head, but they have no idea. My children actually adapted very well to living here. They love school here. They love their new friends. They love their home. Our home is beautiful. It's huge. They can do a lot of things here. They ride dirt bike around. They can ride dirt bikes around here. You know what I mean? We don't have to go to Kahuku anymore.
Oh yeah.
They can just ride around in the red dirt. They're doing super good in school, which is the most important to me. It's always, my two are always straight A's, or all A's and 1B. So that's like really important, for us. They know I'm that mom where it's just like your grades over everything. And then my daughter plays sports now, which is good, because my children actually had not been in school since the pandemic. I kept them out of school, and only when we moved to the Big Island, I wanted them to be in a public school, because I felt bad and I wanted them to make friends, so that's the only reason why I allowed them to go to public school. But I'm glad I did, because they have a lot of friends.
And they're thriving. What are their goals? I guess it's coming to that time in their lives where they start thinking about college and what they want to do.
Scary. That is so scary for me. My daughter's 15, and like literally only have like 3 years left until she can just bounce, right? She can just do whatever she wants. Bye, Mom. So my daughter talked about wanting to be a veterinarian. We have 2 dogs. We love animals. So that's something that she wants to do. My younger son, I think like all of my followers know what my son wants to do when he grows up, because since he's 12, as far as I know, maybe 8 or 7 years old, he's always been obsessed with space and NASA. Like, so he loves space. If you go outside with him and he has a telescope, he will tell you everything about the sky.
Oh wow.
Everything. He is so smart. He just knows a lot about the sky. I mean, I don't even know. Like, he tells us a lot of things, and so he wanted to be an astronomer. He wants to be an astronaut and all that stuff. And when they're young kids, you think, okay, that's cute, right? That's so
Yeah,
cute,
yeah.
because I'm sure like a lot of kids want to be astronauts. But no, my son is so serious. When he was like 8 years old, was it 8? Yeah, when he was 8 years old, he taught himself how to speak Russian.
Oh wow.
He learned on his own through YouTubing and then through apps that we bought. You know what I mean? And then so with Melaluka, one of my regional managers, he knew Russian too. So, he would be like, I'll tell your son this. And then I would tell Johnsy, and Johnsy would tell him I said this. And so like he would learn that way too. He taught himself how to speak Russian because he said that if you're an astronaut or like an astronomer or something, and you got to go to the International Space Station, you have to know how to speak Russian. I don't know
Oh
how true that
wow.
is, but that told me. So
Makes sense.
yeah, so he taught himself how to speak Russian. And also he's not too tall for his age. So he said something about being a certain height. And so he was trying to eat carrots because he heard that carrots makes you grow. So like he's taking so seriously trying to become like an astronomer, astronaut. That's what he really wants.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, that's
Yeah.
good to know what you want to do at that age, that you
Yeah.
can be laser focused all the way up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you sound like a proud mom.
I am. I'm very proud. I'm a very proud mom, because I'm sure that all parents, think so highly of their children. I'm sure. But
Yeah.
I know good kids, you know what I mean? Like if my kids were rotten, I would say they're rotten. You know what I mean? Like it would be hard to fake, being proud of rotten kids for me.
Yeah, for sure.
My kids are rotten, but no, they're not. They're good, respectful kids. We always get compliments, and I'm not bragging, but we always get compliments on how our children are well mannered, how they're very respectful. But that's just, I grew up that way. My mom taught us about respect, that's the number one thing for me, is respecting people. And so they're very respectful. They're very well mannered, and I'm very proud that they are.
Yeah. Yeah. You have how many sisters?
5 sisters and 2 little brothers.
Oh, wow. I
Yeah.
didn't know
You
you
know
had
some.
that many. Yeah, I know some of them. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You guys used
Yeah.
to always come and party at our events.
Right. I know. She probably still would be if she didn't have the last baby.
Yeah. You used to do your birthday party with, was it Chris or like
Yeah.
every year, right? It was who was it,
Well,
Chris?
yes, it was Chris Mahela, because we have the
Yeah.
same exact birthday. So like
I
even till this day, we say happy birthday to each other. I know we had our birthday together at Zanzibar. I mean, because I used to work there, right? And you
yeah.
used to promote there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we do still to this day. Of course, we'll never forget each other's birthdays. And yeah, we used to celebrate our birthdays together. Good fun, I swear. The fun nowadays is so different from what we consider to be fun.
Oh
The
yeah. I was
It's so different from when I
ready.
was younger. Yeah, it was way more fun back when
Yeah.
you were promoting. Was it AGN or something like
Yep,
that?
yep, yep.
Yeah,
That's their
yeah,
company. And it's still like that. I was just talking to a bunch of people about how it used to be, and it makes me sound old, but it really is. Like we had way more fun. Like we had
yeah.
like way more clubs to go to. That alone is more fun.
Right, right. We did. There was like the maze. There was Zanzibar. There was like the Shack. There was what is the
Oceans, yo.
yes, Oceans, Blue Tropics,
Yeah.
Monkey Bar. Shoot, oh my God, there was so much. And you know what? I
Yeah.
used to go. Because then my manager, one of the managers, one of the owners of Zanzibar, Mike, I think he had invested into some other clubs too, and I had to go bounce around and work for him at the other ones.
Oh,
The one
Mike
in Royal,
Borsma, right? Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember. They bought, oh,
That was,
what did they buy? They bought something in Restaurant Royale.
I don't I don't know if it was Restaurant Row, but I know that he invested it, I think, into it was a Royal Hawaiian Shopping Center, that club that used to have the Cirque thingies over there. Do you
Oh,
remember that?
yeah.
I forget what that club was called.
I can't remember either.
I
Was
met
it
I,
Cirque?
it was no, it wasn't Cirque, but they used to have those type of aerobatic. Is it aerobatic? Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Acrobatic.
Those
Yeah.
kind of performers there. And I remember when I was working one day, I remember George St. Pierre came into my line and
Oh,
he was gonna fight with BJ. Sorry, BJ. But
yeah.
I loved GSP. So yeah, I was on team GSP at that time and he came through my line. I was like, oh, I was in my bag trying to get my camera because we used to have the cameras, the real cameras back in the
Yeah.
days. I
The
was going through my
Kodak. Yeah.
he was so patient with me. He was so patient. He stood there and waited until I found it. We took our picture and then he went in. But yeah, it was really good fun.
That's so funny. So BJ sponsored Artist Group Network back in the day
Oh,
when he first started his bjpenn.com, and
oh,
we would do videos, and he would put the video. I don't know if you remember all our club videos. He would put it on his website. So when he fought GSP, we were passing out flyers, and they did some press conference at Blaisdell, and I have a picture with GSP from that. So it's probably the same time he was here. I have a picture with
yeah.
GSP. Yeah, it was kind of dorky, but still cool.
I time because he came when when they were promoting. It was before their fight is when he came, like right
Yeah,
before his that
yeah.
must have been
And then we flew up for that fight. I mean, it didn't go BJ's way, but we went to support him and watch. It was cool. Yeah.
yeah, that was great. That was good. Good times, I swear. Good
Yeah.
fights. Good
Yeah.
fights.
Oh, that's cool that you were a fight fan before his campaign
Oh,
manager,
yeah.
so you knew everything about him then.
Not everything. Like of course I knew he was a fighter. Of course I supported him because he's a Hawaii boy. But like I said, like I really love GSP, so I was like team GSP at the time. But I mostly love like the women fighters. So I was a fan of Ronda Rousey. I
Oh
still
yeah.
am a fan of hers. Like she was, real tough. I loved watching the Ultimate Fighter, the females. I love the female fighters. Like I wasn't so much into the guys. Like I'll watch the guys, obviously. I love to watch fighting. I love MMA. I just think I grew up fighting. So
Yeah.
it was all
Yeah.
interesting, and I just love to see the girls fight. I was a huge fan of watching Ronda Rousey fight.
That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
back then it was a lot more fun too. Like even MMA. I guess now it's more theatrics, but back then it had some good fights,
Oh
and
yeah.
it was exciting because it wouldn't happen all the time. It wasn't you're not getting a card every single week. It was like one pay-per-view a month, and they hyped it up. So by the time that show came, it was like exciting. And then BJ fought GSP. It was like champion versus champion. It was like the biggest news in the world. I always like thought that was super cool. But
Yeah, that's so fun. And I remember Kaika was a fan of BJ, but I remember how he used to be like, BJ knows how to sell fights. I think that's what Kaika used to say, like, because he knew what to say to get people
yeah,
to like want to watch it, right? Like talking shit kind of stuff. Like
yeah,
he
you
knew
get
how to
them all riled up.
watch, right? Yeah, that was the best. I swear. It's so much. It's so different nowadays. Everything is
Yeah,
different.
I know we're getting old, I guess. Don't feel
Oh,
it though. I don't feel
no
it.
load. I know I can feel it too. I can.
Yeah.
Just like I was like yesterday, like, oh my God, my back's been so sore. It feels like, people talk about that, right? There, I was like, yeah, wait till you get older, your back's gonna hurt. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
I'm healthy, I take care of myself, I exercise. It's not gonna happen to me, but oh, it hurts. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
what is that shocking sensation going down my spine? I was like, that's sciatica. I was like, I didn't have sciatica before.
I know our investments become like the massage gun, and like I just bought the electronic suction cup thing. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny. The copy stuff. You
Yeah.
bought that?
I got it on Amazon. I got sucked into it, and then now I had like My daughter's like sucking it on my back, and I have all these hickeys on my back.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. Hey, at least you have that, because I know that there's a lot of people who love that thing, but you got to go in
Yeah.
to get it done. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just like, I don't know where to put it. I just put it where it's sore, and it's like a small little cup with a vacuum on it, and it just sucks for like 20 minutes.
What is the benefit of that? I never did try that before, but I see it.
They said it draws blood to the troubled area. I don't know if
Oh,
it works. It feels good when it's on, but when you take it off, it doesn't really, you can't really tell. And then you just have a big hickey on your back.
wow. Yeah, I mean, I always see it, but I was like, what does that do? Like, really? Because in some celebrities, you'll see them walking the red carpet with these big, huge
Yeah.
red dots back. I'm like, do they really have to do that right before like the red carpet? Like, you couldn't do. I mean, what's the benefit of that thing? Like, you have to really do it then.
I seen it on the Olympic swimmers. So I was thinking, oh, if those guys gotta use that, it must be good because they're Olympians. So it has to be doing something, or they wouldn't
Right.
do it. So I was like, I think I
Hopefully,
should do that. I think it was just an excuse for me to get it off Amazon.
right? Hey, I think that Amazon has like a 14-day return policy.
I know. See if it. I know. I should return it.
That's
We'll
funny.
see. But shoot, we've been going for an hour. I just wanted to know, what do you see Hawaii's future? How do you see Hawaii's future playing out right now? Because you're in politics.
Oh man, that's a hard question to answer, because I want to answer it in a hopeful way. Like, I
Yeah.
hope to, right? But the way realistically that it's looking right now, it's looking like Hawaii's people, right? Especially our native Hawaiian people. I feel like it's going to be very difficult for them. Already we're seeing I think that actually a majority of the native Hawaiians had moved off of island, the last article that I seen. And to me, like, what makes Hawaii beautiful is not only the beaches, it's the people, it's the
Yeah.
culture. And without the native Hawaiians on the island, what is Hawaii really, right? So I feel like in the future, if it continues to go down this path, it's going to be a very different Hawaii. It's going to be I feel like, pretty scary, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I hope that Hawaii changes and it gets better. I hope that Governor Green does something great for Hawaii and changes a lot of things. I hope that he does what he says and gets rid of the food tax, the medicine tax. I hope that he really does help the homeless. I haven't attacked him, but I have called him out a couple of times on like social media, right? And I'll tag him and stuff like that. I thought to myself, you know what? Instead of attacking him, why don't you like pray for him, right? So, like, if I could even encourage anybody, like, pray for Governor Green out there. Maybe he will change Hawaii. Maybe he will do something good. I'm hoping that he does, because I
Yeah.
really see Hawaii in a better place. I don't want it to continue to go down this road where we're just losing all our Hawaiian people to foreigners coming in and buying our land, and like the taxes, they're rising, and our food, we can be a self-sustainable state, but we're not. Like, there's really not much effort being put into being self-sustainable. And I think that we have such a perfect environment for that.
Yeah.
So hopefully that changes, but I hope that in the future, Hawaii is better than it is now. But if I have to be realistic, um, I see Hawaii being a place full of foreigners, and a lot of our Hawaiian people being priced out
Wow.
and are being very different. Yeah.
Wow, that's a real answer. I mean, that's kind of awesome that you'd actually say it. I wasn't expecting that.
I know what, it's one of my favorite. I mean, I always tell the truth no matter what. And like, I think
Yeah.
that even my husband, he says that, like, you don't sugarcoat anything. I don't. Like, I'll always say the truth, even if it hurts your feelings, because the truth's got to be said. But I hope the people out there know, like the people of Hawaii, I hope that they understand how important it is to vote, and how important it is to speak up, and even just something as small as write a letter to your legislators, telling them how you feel about certain issues, because it's really us. It's us.
Yeah.
We got to do our part too. We can't just give up, because that's what we're doing. A lot of people have been giving up, and they should not. So yeah, got to keep fighting out there, guys.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys can lead the way, and you guys already started. So hopefully in the future, more things can come from you personally. And if BJ is going to run again and shake up these races and bring more awareness to what you just talked about, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. God, please, God willing, make a change in the state.
Yeah. Okay. So where can people find you? You have a website or Instagram?
Yes. My Instagram is just my first and last name at KEIKILANI HO. I created the Freedom Index. It's my new LLC, and the Freedom Index is basically just a platform that helps to educate people, and then educate people about their rights, their constitutional rights, the laws, just keeping them informed about what's going on today. It's just a very patriot type of platform. I just like to keep people informed, because if they're not informed, they're not going to know what to do, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Where can people find that?
Right now, so we're creating our website is going to be the freedomindex.info. I think that's what it was. It's not ready yet, but the domain is definitely bought. And then, of course, on Instagram, we have the Freedom Index on Instagram.
Oh, okay. Okay. So they can go on your Instagram and then kind of follow your link tree or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay.
The link.
All right on. And for us, you can find us on Instagram, Above the Bridge Podcast, our YouTube channel, Above the Bridge Podcast, and our website is atbpod.com. And my Instagram is Thaddy Daddy High. Wow, it's been cool to talk with you. I definitely am impressed with everything you've done over the past year, especially, and to see what you did and to talk about it makes me feel like you guys are making changes. So that's going to be cool to watch your career in the future. Hopefully you're making moves and changes still yet.
Yeah. Whatever I got to do, to protect our kids, I'll do whatever it takes. But thank you for having me on your podcast. It means a lot. It's really cool what you're doing. And same, likewise with you, I'm very impressed of what you had accomplished in your life. I've been a witness to it all. I've seen it,
I know.
This time. So great job to you. You did a lot of great.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And hopefully you and Chris can celebrate a birthday together, and I'll be there for sure. That'll be a cool.
Chris, you heard Chris.
Yeah, I'll let him know. And you guys still working together with him? I know Defend did a lot for your guys' campaign as well. Yeah.
Yes, they did. Definitely did.
Shout out to them. They sponsored this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mike, thank you, Chris. You guys are so amazing. We had a lot of great feedback on the gear. That was their favorite. Because we had our own, right? We had our own Bj Penn shirt. And then they had the Defend Hawaii one, and they're like, no, I want that one. I'm like, well, what are we going to do with these ones?
Yep. So for the next campaign, can use them again.
Right. Yeah. We're still trying to buy them. So.
Oh, good. I think I have 2 Bj Penn shirts from the campaign. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, shakas for the cameras. Okay, we're out. Thank you for coming on. Shout out to the Artist Group Network. Aloha.
Thank you.